I don't know what is happening to this department, but Eric, I would like to thank you for being here with us. We're out of control. I have to say that Miles's entrance into the hit teen drama Degrassi was truly my favorite.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. Then looking back on it.
Like, he was just chilling, smoking a J.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what the show needed, to tell you the truth.
Probably.
Like, it needed a bit of rock and roll. Like, it
Needed
needed
a bit of rock and roll.
it did. Like, a kid being like, I have no F's to give. I'm just smoking some pot.
There's none of that anymore, for me anyway. I'm clean cut now.
Well, now Miles has a drug problem, so we don't
Yeah.
want him to relapse. When you read this part, were you like, I really want to play this? Or was it like, we'll see where it goes?
When I read for this part, I auditioned for a different character before this one.
Which one?
It was, I guess it was.
Chewie?
It was, but it was like a prototype version. Like his name was Benji.
Benji.
And so, like, I was auditioning for Benji all the way, and then they're like, oh, he just got, like, cut. Can you read for Miles?
Well, I feel like, I mean, you don't strike me, not to say that you can't play nerdy, but now I'm so used to seeing you play Miles that I can't, like, see you as, like, nerdy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I guess. I was, like, I felt, like, more natural at first playing.
Nerdy?
Yeah, Benji than Miles. Benji.
I mean, here's the thing. He's a rich kid.
Yeah.
Rich kid comes, chilling on a fire escape, smoking a J. Obviously, all the girls are going to want him, which is exactly what happens. Like, the first thing that happens is, like, Miles is essentially in a love triangle, isn't he? Between, like, Zoe and Maya.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's, like, right at the beginning, there's also that thing where Tristan thinks he's, like, into him, and then, like, I guess I kind of lead him on for fun, and then say I'm not. Just pretty mean.
Straight boys do.
Yeah. But, yeah, then it was, like, Zoe was more of a, like, fun fling.
Zoe was nuts.
Yeah, she
Wild.
Yeah. But I guess, like, so was he he's really mellowed out now compared to what he was, like.
It's like Miles was, like, kind of using his sexuality as, like, a bit of, like, currency, like a weapon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he could kind of play anybody, guy and girl.
Yeah.
But then when it actually, like, became apparent that he likes both guys and girls, I didn't see that coming. I thought he was just, being suavemente.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think probably even for him, it was like at the very beginning, like he just wasn't sure. Like I think that he thought, okay, I'm just having fun with this, and like even if he felt some sort of like heat, that's weird. Maybe
Heat.
Weird word. But like you know what I mean, like some sort of excitement.
Yeah.
Like he probably just wrote it down as being. Like a result of like, okay, I'm messing with this guy.
Yeah.
He was, especially then, like impulsive enough that if he felt something or something for somebody, he would pursue it regardless of. And I think also like at the beginning of it, he was partly knew it would like piss off his dad. And so,
screw up his campaign.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like it starts as like him just playing this game, and then he actually falls for Tristan.
I just always have thought of him as just falling in love with people and being like taken by people rather than I never really
thought of like the mechanics of the.
Yeah, and I don't think he did either. Like I think, like I said, it didn't matter to him as long as he was feeling good about who he was with and what he was doing, and he was having fun or if there's some connection. I don't think that it would really. Like phase him too much about labels or anything. I think that he maybe doesn't really see the point in it. If you can just sort of live, there's no need to write everything down.
I feel like Miles is so new age in some ways, you know what I mean? Like he's just like a trailblazer in the sense that like he has this kind of independent confidence to him. He's sexually free. But then he like turns around and becomes like a full-blown addict. Like I love this like kind of dichotomy where he has so many, like he just seems like he's got all his stuff in order in so many ways, and then on the other side of things it's like he's just one thread away from like falling apart.
We're not sure of ourselves entirely, and so like to pretend that you're completely sure of yourself in every way is,
It's like a sign that you're not.
yeah, and it's also like makes the times when you're not sure of yourself like a lot scarier.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because Miles reminds me a lot of Mr. Hollingsworth because they're both kind of shooters.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They both got like their fancy cars,
Mm-hmm.
and their nice like clothes. You know, they're both ladies' men.
Yeah.
I feel like they have all these like similarities, which is probably why like Miles hates his dad so much.
Yeah, it'd be like seeing, yeah, something you hate in yourself, and then like being angry at that, and then therefore angry at whoever made you like that, or, and so it's like, I don't know, destroying it is almost like your way of saying this isn't me, or like this isn't what I am. Like Miles is manipulative to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And like I'm sure he gets that from his father, and you can see like you know in some scenes like even just like manipulating Winston or like people that he's romantically attracted to, and I don't know, like I feel like even something is like that can be used like maliciously, like manipulation, he can also use it in like smart ways to convince people to help people, I think. And like every now and then, like he'll just speak a lot of truth.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can twist what people are thinking in a way that will help them like see it in a positive light. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it is. That's what he tries to do with Hunter. Like, first off, I got a full disclosure. I love Miles and Hunter together so much. And, like, there's that scene in the end of season 1 where he's on the phone. And he's just like, yo, I love you. But that was, like, a really interesting moment because it's like, do you think Miles and Hunter ever said that to each other?
Yeah.
You know? Like, it was so, like, oh.
Yeah, apart from when they were young, and their parents probably made them say it a few times. I mean, that was, if they had said it before, that was probably the most sincere version of it. Even if like they've communicated that in different ways, it's like that phone call or what he said then was definitely the most like sincere and important one.
So do you feel like Miles feels responsible for both his siblings because his parents suck?
During like the whole divorce and all the abuse stuff, like I think he felt like a father figure, and his mom was always like sort of like somewhere else.
I think there was one line once where she was just like, oh yeah, you were, like Miles is just like overcoming his drug addiction and he's doing pretty okay, and he goes, hey mom, can I talk to you for a second? She was just like, does it have to be right now? Yes, your kid who's in recovery wants to talk to you, and it's just like, gotta go to yoga.
He's always been like protective of Frankie and stuff, and in season 15 you really see him like trying his best to handle Hunter alone.
Yeah, alone. It's so true.
Yeah, and then he realizes that that's just like almost equally as bad as not doing anything. And just like not helping his brother at all, because like by handling it alone, like or by keeping the secret, I guess, it's just perpetuating the problem. And that when he told his mom, it was like one of the first times that she actually took a very
serious stance.
Yeah, like a very good.
I mean, like, we're gonna do something about this. I think what Miles did for Tristan in a coma is like sensational. Like most people wouldn't do that. And that's why when everyone was like, I always felt bad for Miles. I was like, why are you ripping on yourself for like hooking up with Lola? Like, the kid's in a coma. And you're there in a hospital every day. He might not wake up. And Lola's cute. Like,
I mean, it was like
life is tough, you know?
It was done in a way that was like you could see it from either side, because like when he didn't hook up with her, like it was at the point where it's like, okay, he's not going to wake up.
But here's the thing with Degrassi characters. Degrassi characters are so holier than thou when they're judging each other, and then they go off and do the stupidest thing in the entire world.
Yeah.
So it's like, chill. Everyone's trying to figure their thing out.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't have connected if it wasn't for the situation that they were both in.
Tristan, yeah.
So I don't know if like even if they had met before Tristan, like him and Tristan dated, I don't know if they still would have had the same connection. I mean, ultimately, I think they had the potential to, and I think that, like, the way they cared for each other wasn't like just something to be dismissed, and I think that they could have probably loved each other, not given different circumstances, but maybe the only reason that they were able to connect at first was because they both needed somebody.
Yeah.
It was good because it showed, like, you can sort of sympathize for both Tristan and Miles. I think it was just, like, human enough that, like...
Sure, and I think Tristan shows that because he understands in the end.
Yeah, which was, like, I was really impressed with that. Like, that whole conversation was, like, another mature... Like, an example of, like, how a high school relationship could have been, like, mature. And, like, it wasn't just, like... very...
You cheated on me.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I kept thinking about Tristan. I said, if I was in Tristan's shoes and I woke up and my boyfriend had hooked up with somebody, I'd been like, correct me if I'm wrong, the bigger thing to be focused on is I woke up. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So the rest is manageable. Do they end, like, are they end game with each other? Like, do they get together? Yes, ish. No. Tristan says, no, he was free, doesn't he?
At the
when
very
you love
end.
it, set it free.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I don't want you to be my caregiver. And I totally get that. It's like nothing is least...
You can't, yeah.
Nothing could be less hot than your boyfriend at 17 years old being your caregiver.
And
it's not like you're 80 and you spent your life together.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to, like, talk about, like, oh, if something ever happened to you, like, I'd stay by your side forever.
Yeah.
And, like, but it's another one of those things where, like, you don't know what it's like until you're there. It's at a point where, like, Tristan's not expecting him to, and there's no obligation for him to stay. But even if he wants to, like, should he? Like, it's just a very, like, heavy thing, especially when you're this young.
That person will always look at you as what your life was pre-injury.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like Tristan, like, I feel like Miles is also, like, looking at Tristan, like, come on, we'll go to Europe and everything's going to be perfect. And he's just like, I'm not this person anymore.
And it's sort of scary for, like, I could imagine for Miles to be like I'm with a different person now. Like, to a certain extent, like, the part of him is gone that won't ever be back.
Yeah. And also with brain injuries, people, it's very hard.
Yeah.
People change so much. It's hard for themselves. It's hard for the people around them.
Yeah.
I think Miles was very patient and a true delight.
With most of the characters, everything's left very open-ended, so you can assume that there's not, like, a finite end to, like,
True.
This is what's happening. It's, you can assume that maybe, like, years later he'll come back and maybe Tristan and him will try again, or, like, when they've both grown up a little bit. Because they never really said goodbye. It's not a definite, like, and it's certainly not, I'll never see you again. Like, they'll be there for each other, I think, regardless.
For your 6 seasons, like, is there a standout Degrassi scene that you did where you're like, boom, Deanna, I killed that? Or, like, that was so hard for me to get my head around? Or,
like, looking back, I really enjoyed setting fire to the school.
Sick.
That was, like, a really fun, and it was because they built, like, a separate hallway, and it was actually, like, you burned it down. And that was really exciting to have, like, one take.
There's this one time I'll never forget where Marco, my character's student council president, so he, like, throws, like, some big Bollywood dance party to, like, help the community, like, for the school community, and, like, we're having a big dance and it's Bollywood themed, and his curtains catch on fire. And I remember they had like firemen come and coach us, like, where these curtains are going to catch on fire, and then as soon as don't panic, you're just going to exit frame, and then we're going to come in. And so, like, I'm just like, okay, cool. Literally the moment comes where I see the curtains catch on fire right in front of me. I aborted all missions and get a flying F what anybody says, and I just bolted right out of frame, right out of the hole. So they're like, Adamo. So if you watch it to this, because we were going to do it once, if you watch it to this day, there's literally just a shot of me, and then they have to just cut to anybody else. I was like, screw this, man. This is not a TV show anymore. This be real. This is a real fire. In terms of the final still of where Miles is, like, I just, like, it's fun, it's sweet. But I think, like, as you were saying at the very beginning of the interview, it's like he's come so far in these last years that, like, I think where he ended up was, like, a really positive progression.
Yeah, absolutely. His journey ended up being very positive. Like, he matured greatly, and I think especially like even having to cope with Tristan, like somebody he loves, like being in a coma is not like an easy thing for anybody, let alone a teenager.
Yeah.
And so he grew up very quickly, and everything else he went through, he didn't succumb to, with the help of his friends and family, obviously. Like without them, I'm sure things would end up very differently.
Well,
You want to play the game?
we're going to play a game before you depart.
Okay.
And that game is a fun game. It's a game created by the staff here. What we were inspired by was the game Marry F Kill.
Okay.
But now it's prom boiler slap. So who would you take to prom?
Who'd you boil alive?
Fair assumption. Who would you hook up with in the boiler room?
Okay.
And who would you like movie slap? Just because they really get under your skin. You know what I mean? That's a fun one.
Is this me?
Yeah, as you, like these characters. And the characters, not the people. But like you, if you were just like a fan watching the show. Maya, Esme, and Tristan.
I guess I'd slap Esme.
Fair.
I'd take Tristan to prom, and then I'd hook up with Maya.
That's nice. That's a good mix. I think I'm similar. Okay, prom boiler slap. Zig, Lola, Winston. I feel like I know what this is gonna be. It's too easy.
Yeah, I'd take Winston to prom. I'd hook up with Zig, and then I'd slap Lola.
Twist. It's the cut off arms, isn't it?
It is. I love them.
I understand that.
Claire, Mr. Simpson, Jonah.
Jonah, Claire, Mr. Simpson, and Jonah.
Yeah.
Claire, Mr. Simpson, and Jonah. I don't know why I did that. I would live with Claire.
You'd live with Claire.
I think. Oh no, sorry. I would go to take Claire to the prom.
Okay.
Would I? Yeah, I'd take Claire to the prom. I feel like she'd be on time. It'd be very organized, and we'd have like a nice time.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like she's really cool. I'd like to know what she's doing in university right now. And you know, she's still with Eli. Like, there's a lot to catch up on that I'm actually personally interested in. So I'd take Claire to prom. Boiler room. Who was the other two? Mr. Simpson and Jonah. Oh God, I would 100% take Snake to the boiler room, and I'd slap Jonah.
All right.
Sorry, Jonah. But sad to not have seen Benji in the show, but glad Miles came to be.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us on our red couch on this very early Monday morning. You were a delight.